start things out, I don't think 1,500 rounds to rifle is a marker of reliability or really durability for that matter. But just to say, I put some rounds through it, hasn't fallen apart. Palmetto State Armory, mixed bag. They offer a lot of products, but I just want to focus in on their ARs. They will have ARs for under $500, being the upper and the lower, complete rifles, parts kits, you name it. They have cheap parts. And the joke is, like, it's just as good, but I would say, it's just good enough. You can put rounds through it and not really have a problem. I've gotten friends into firearms, and for me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to go out and spend $2,000 on the rifle itself, $1,000 in accessories, the magazine, the ammunition, $4,000 plus on what is to be like a setup when they don't really necessarily need to if they're just going for the range first time, just getting into it. The analogy I would give is like if you're looking to work on your own car, some DIY projects. Obviously, there's professional grade tools, Matco, Snap-on, but if you're just going to change your oil, you don't necessarily need professional grade stuff. You can go out and buy some Craftsman or equivalent brand, and that is what PSA represents to me. It is like the entry-level, cheap, go-to brand. When I was getting to firearms about a decade ago, Anderson was that brand, and Palmetto State Armory just offers more offerings. Now, when I say budget, that could be, again, $1,000 for your little setup, being the rifle, PSA, $500, accessories being another $250, then ammunition, magazines for $1,000. You can step up to $1,200, $1,400, $1,500, what have you, but the idea is you only have a set dollar amount to set aside for what is to be your setup. Now, for going with the cheaper brand, what are you really giving up? For the most part, that comes in the way of giving up some durability and accuracy in the rifle. For durability, you can look at professional grade brands. You can put 5,000 rounds to this rifle, no problem. With this PSA, am I able to get to 5,000 rounds without any issues? I would venture to say no, but it is in fact an AR, so I can switch out the bulk carry group, the gas tube, and whatever else it needs along the way. So I think it can last that long. Just looking at the upper and lower stripped, I think those are, what is to be mil spec. They are fine. You can switch out absolutely any part on this rifle. But again, if you're trying to make it as precise as possible, and this is your starting point, you would be spending more money trying to, accurize it, switching out parts, barrels, handguard, than if you were just to buy a better quality upper, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can't buy a cheap rifle, upgrade along the way. That's not what I'm saying. But again, if you just want as accurate as possible, I wouldn't start with the cheapest PSA. Just my 2 cents there. Now, in closing, this is not my only AR, and it is not my go-to AR, but if there's a bump of the night, someone kicks on the door, if I reach for this, it is capable of dealing with that threat. Can it stretch out yards, 300 yards plus? No, and that's not really what I have this set up for anyways. You've seen the videos where I switch out the scopes, some of the accessories on this rifle. I have cheap flashlight, cheap handguard, cheap vertical grip, cheap red dot being the, the 6 Hour 7S, takes a AAA battery. I got rid of the Magpul flip-up sight. I forget what they called their flip-up sight, but now it's a UTG fixed, what is be like a A2 style rear sight. And with this little setup, it's capable for, what is to be like home defense. If I'm stretching out yards, it's not really what I built it for. But with that said, I'm going to keep track of how many rounds I put through it. So far, it is 1,500 rounds. I'm going to pull rounds through it going forward, and I'll try and keep better track. And in a follow-up video, I'm going to show groups and stuff like that. Right now, it is 0 for 50. In closing, I just want to keep the video short. I do recommend Palmetto State Armory ARs like as a entry-level, your first AR, because they are so affordable. I've owned a few. I used to have a 300 Blackout pistol and rifle. I used to have more pistol uppers. Like I started selling some of the stuff that I didn't really need, and I've hung on to this. I've had this for a little over 3 years. I really haven't put it that many rounds through it. I plan to change that going forward. I have some ammo set aside for the next range trip with this rifle and just this rifle. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good one.